Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. Welcome to the August 5th, 2026 meeting of Seattle Rotary 4, the fourth oldest Rotary Club in the world. So glad you're here. So glad you're here. Boy, we have got an incredible agenda for today. First of all, though, before we do anything, I just wanted to make a comment that as a Rotary Club, our thoughts and prayers are with those families in Eastern Washington that are suffering with these huge fires. I know as I drove into the city today, I kind of remember what it was like when I was a smoker. God, I could hardly breathe. Thank God I quit that horrible habit. All right. We got a number of things going on. We do care about them. We're going to be talking to our Rotary Service Foundation to see what we can do to help, but more to come on that. The music committee is here today. They will be providing us with their Gosh, I love you guys when you get up in full form like that. You are incredible. I wish we had money to pay you, but we don't. So anyway. Sure. Following the music committee, Harvey Rubenstein and Nancy Cahill will provide our inspiration for today. So music committee, take it away.
Okay. And we're welcoming the Fifth Avenue Theater today. So Rotarians are business people, but we know there's no business like show business. And nobody said it better than Irving Berlin, who said it with a wink and a salute. He wrote a show tune about show tunes. And so we're going to sing through it once. So I'm going to ask you guys to stand and get ready for that. So we'll sing through the first verse. And then the second that we're done, and you hear, go on with the show.
Go to the meetings.
Come on in with There's No Business Like Show Business, and Nick will have the words on the slides. Eric, take it away.
1, 2. Oh, God.
Maestro.
No business like show business. There's no business I know. Everything about it is appealing. Everything that traffic will allow. Nowhere would you get that happy feeling when you are stealing that extra pound. There's no people like show people. They smile when they are low. With the turkey that you know will fold, you may be stranded out in the cold. Still, you wouldn't change it for a sack of gold. Let's go on with the show. There's no business like show business. There's no business I know. Everything about it is appealing. Everything that traffic will allow. Nowhere could you get that happy feeling when you are stealing that extra pound. There's no people like show people. They smile when they are low. Even with the turkey that you know will fold, you may be stranded out in the cold. Still, you wouldn't change it for a sack of gold. Let's go on with the show. Let's go on with the show.
Good afternoon. I'm the coordinator for the inspirations that we have as part of our Rotary luncheon one time each month. Today I have the joy to interview one of our Rotarians. I believe that only a small number of you have heard that Harvey was recently diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. He has graciously agreed to share a bit with us so as to educate us as to what the diagnosis does for one of us and how it impacts his family members. So a few questions here. Harvey, can you let us know when you or your family members first noticed any symptoms and when you were officially diagnosed?
I was formally diagnosed as a 76-year-old with progressive memory loss in 2023. At the time, my wife Sharon and I identified issues such as forgetting appointments, agitation, and word finding difficulties in 2019. Subsequent to my initial diagnosis, an extensive array of brain imaging studies and numerous neuropsychiatric tests confirmed my memory loss stems from Alzheimer's disease.
So what was your approach after your diagnosis? Was your inclination to tell no one and instead plan some of your strategy for treatment and learning more about your recommended course of treatment? Let us know that.
Upon diagnosis, I enrolled in the UW Memory and Brain Wellness Clinic, a comprehensive program designed specifically for Alzheimer's patients and those with traumatic brain injuries. And I became fully engaged in those programs. Sharon and I shared with family and close friends the news about my disease and provided updates as we learned more about my condition. The last year, I've disclosed in conversation my condition and what's going on with me. My first public disclosure was in May at an event of the Seattle Chamber Music Society, where I charged my reflections of the impact of live string quartet performances on therapeutic settings. I spent many hours with those people, understanding that, and having that time and exposure gave me insight as to my memory loss. My close and extended observations of the way the performers communicated gave me insight as to what my condition was like. That performance changed my life.
Appreciate that candor on that. So what more have you learned about yourself since the diagnosis?
As Alzheimer's diagnosis is a profound shock to the system. In my mid-70s, I was vaguely aware I was facing end of life. I knew I was in the fourth quarter of my life, but no one knew how much time was on the clock. The diagnosis of Alzheimer's is pretty clear, at least in terms of range. I've reframed my life as living at the intersection of misfortune and gratitude. Try to take each day as it comes and do the best I can.
Wow. I was able to observe Harvey's great attitude in action just last Friday, and this was after we'd already known we were going to do this talk. I happened to be at Horizon House going to visit a 96-year-old friend of mine there, and I see two people scurrying down the hall, Harvey and Sharon. Where were they scurrying? On the way to the exercise class. Sharon was a little ahead. He was playing catch up with his walking stick. He had shorts, tank top, headband. He looked awesome. Okay. He was ready. I worried about the other people in the exercise class because they weren't going to match up to what Harvey could do.
And she has much longer legs.
Yeah. So final question for you, Harvey. Is there something you want all of us to know how to be supportive to a friend or a relative when faced with such a diagnosis?
The most effective strategies for mitigating memory loss is social engagement. Social engagement keeps the patient's brain active, provides opportunities for listening and word solving, and talking and word finding. As AD progresses, meaning gets worse, there is a increase of patient isolation. Invite them out, take them along, go see them, and bring them to Rotary.
Or a musical theater performance. Thank you, Harvey. We love you.
Thank you. Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Harvey, I hate to mention this, but you took my notes with you. Yeah, the one with the blueprint, that's mine. Yeah. Yeah. Just- And Alzheimer's gets there really quick, doesn't it? No, I'm just kidding. You know, my mother-in-law has Alzheimer's, and your speech today, Harvey, thank you for providing an inspiration. Nancy, thank you for interviewing. That was truly inspirational. You're a very courageous man. I admire you. And I'll just let the rest of the Rotary know a little bit about Harvey, what kind of person he is. 5 years ago, my youngest son graduated from the University of Washington. I invited him here to a Rotary meeting, introduced him to everyone, and said he's looking for a job if anybody can help him with networking or knows of anything. The next day, he was meeting with Harvey. That's how quick Harvey can respond to a request for a helping hand. He is a remarkable person. So thank you. Let's see. I also want to, thank the music committee. My gosh, you guys put on such a wonderful show for us every time. You get us going, you get us jazzed. All right, here we go. Hillary Raket Yakub. Did I say it right? Hillary Rakete Yaku. Hillary over here. Thank you. Our newest member who was also a greeter today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Logan Riley, for the meeting reporting. One thing we like to do, if we have any guests in the room, would you please just stand and remain standing for a minute so that the rest of us can recognize you and welcome you with our applause. Thank you. Can't believe it. We got a couple of shy performers down here in the front table. They didn't stand, but you're going to be seeing them in just a minute. Boy, this is an honor. Wait a minute. I think Harvey also took this too. No, he didn't. I'm kidding you, Harvey. I'm just teasing you, buddy. Okay, our speaker today. Wow. I wrote this. I wasn't quite sure how to introduce Bill Berry and the Fifth Avenue Theater. As many of you know, I am an arts fanatic. I love the arts, all the arts, and anything that has to do with it and how it serves our community. But our speaker today is a man who is also committed to community, as we are here at Seattle Rotary 4. Bill Berry joined the Fifth Avenue Theater, I found this incredible, 25 years ago. 25 years he has been here. He's held numerous roles, including his current role as the artistic and executive director at the Fifth Avenue Theater. He's directed productions of, oh my gosh, Jesus Christ Superstar, Mamma Mia, Pajama Game, How to See the Business. The list goes on and on. I think he has directed more shows than I have seen in my life, and I have seen quite a few. From 2002 to 2009, he served as the producing director for the Fifth Avenue's Education and Outreach Program. He created Fridays at the Fifth. He created the Fifth Avenue Awards, honoring excellence in high school musical theater. Education is very important to us as Rotarians, and so it is to the Fifth Avenue Theater. Those programs today combined serve nearly 75,000 students annually. So as I tell you here, Bill Berry is much more than a director. He creates community through his theatrical endeavors. He invites people out of their homes to come down to Seattle, to meet with other people, other theater goers, to have dinner, to join and make a strong community. The Fifth Avenue Theater is supported by him and by us. It is a Seattle icon and a treasure. And today, to tell you more about it, introduce and please welcome Mr. Bill Berry. First,
kiss today goodbye, the sweetness and the sorrow. Wish me luck the same to you, but I can't regret what I did for love, what I did for love. Look, my eyes are dry. The gift was ours to borrow. It's as if we always knew. And I won't forget what I did for love, what I did for love. Gone, love is never gone. As we travel on, love's what we'll remember. Kiss today goodbye, then point me toward tomorrow. We did what we had to do. Can't regret, won't forget what I did for love. What I did for love. What I did for love. Love is never gone as we travel on. Love's what we'll remember. Kiss today goodbye and point me toward tomorrow. We did what we had to do. Won't forget, can't regret what I did for love. What I did for love. What I did for love.
That was Tori Gresham and Luke Rafati, and What I Did for Love from a chorus line, which we're doing at the 5th this season. So we thought that was a great way to start. I'll tell you more about that in a second. Thank you all for being here and for inviting me to be here today to talk to you about a place that I love, the Fifth Avenue Theater. As President John said, I joined the Fifth Avenue 25 years ago, and I fell in love immediately with Seattle, with the Fifth Avenue, with passionate civic leaders and a community that actually wanted to make things happen and believed in service. When I came to Seattle, I thought I was coming here for maybe 2 to 3 years, starting 26 years this coming February. I don't see myself leaving anytime soon. It is a love affair that I have with this beautiful place that we call home. The Fifth Avenue is special for many reasons, but I want to talk about it today because it's a place where dreams come true, but it's not just where dreams come true. It's also where memories are born, when families come to the Fifth Avenue and experience a holiday production, or when two people go on their first date and start a lifelong romance. They talk about the Fifth Avenue for the rest of their lives. It's a pretty unique place. It's something that I take very seriously, our responsibility to create those memories and make sure people have those incredibly human experiences of hearing a story told through song and music and dance. And it imprints us in ways that are well beyond anything else. And then, of course, sitting in a room with 1,800 people who all breathe together and laugh together. And sometimes the stories are sad and we cry together, but it reminds us of how we're connected and interconnected to the world at large. In about a month and a half, the Skinner Building, which is where the Fifth Avenue is housed, will turn 100 years. And it's been a pretty good run. Lots of amazing entertainment, lots of amazing things have happened at the Fifth. And so I wanted to start today with What I Did for Love, because it seems to capture so many things about the story of the Fifth for me. Of course, as I said, the song is from a chorus line, and in the show, it expresses what the performers did for love, for their love of dancing, their love of performing, their love of their craft. But when I was preparing for the season and I was thinking about a chorus line, I started listening to the cast album. And when What I Did for Love played, it resonated in a whole different way, because I was contemplating the 100th anniversary of the Fifth. And I thought it expresses what happened, past, present, future of the Fifth Avenue. While tomorrow is behind us, we carry with us the dreams of those that came before and continue to commit to making more things happen in the future. And we don't regret what happened. We just build upon that past. We take the love that was poured into something, in this case, the Fifth Avenue, and as we travel on, we remember and we build on it. The people who originally built the theater, the ones who lovingly saved it, more on that in a second, the people who come to see the shows today, the people who perform, the people who produce the shows, the donors, and the list goes on. All of us love the Fifth Avenue. I'm getting ahead of myself though, because what I want to tell you about is a brief history of the Fifth and then tell you where we are today. So the theater opened in 1926, and by all counts, it was an amazing opening celebration. Accounts say there were somewhere between 60,000 and 100,000 people who came downtown on the night that the theater opened. They, of course, could not all get into the theater, so the streets were closed off in front of the theater. There are amazing pictures. You've probably seen them if you ever eat in the Nordstrom Cafe downstairs. There's a picture of the Fifth Avenue the night that the theater opened. It's pretty thrilling to see. The theater was built to be what was known at the time as a presentation house. It was a combination of live performance and a movie. Some people tell you it was built as a vaudeville house. Strictly speaking, it wasn't, because it was the newfangled thing to have movies. And they wanted to combine the two things together, movies and live performance. And it would showcase so many amazing movies. There are reports from a board member that they took all of their first dates to see The Sound of Music in its original movie run at the Fifth Avenue Theater for 4 years. The whole time they were in high school, The Sound of Music was running on a single screen at the Fifth Avenue Theater. The original managers of the theater were really amazing. There are all these pictures of various movies, and he would dress the ushers in costumes that related to the movie. So my favorite one that I've seen is Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm is the movie, and all of the ushers are dressed like Shirley Temple, complete with the little curly wig. It's pretty amazing. For many years, the Fifth was the place to go to have an amazing night on the town. However, as multiplexes took over and people started to not want to come into the heart of downtown, people stopped coming, and that combined with an economic downturn in downtown and all of Seattle. And so for a while, there were, I've heard many rumors about this. None of these have been substantiated. I don't know which one is the truth. There was a wrecking ball coming for the Fifth Avenue. They were going to turn it into a multiplex, or some have said it was going to become the world's biggest themed Chinese restaurant. Again, I don't know which one of those is true, but what's clear is the future of the Fifth was uncertain. It was closed for 2 years. And then a really amazing thing happened. A group of civic leaders, the folks who brought the World's Fair to Seattle, stepped in and said, we can't let this disappear. And they saved the Fifth Avenue. And their dream was pretty amazing, and it is the foundation upon which we sit today. They wanted to bring touring Broadway into Seattle because they believed that that would be an attraction that no one else was doing in Seattle at the time. I need to remind you, Seattle Theater Group didn't exist yet. Broadway touring did not stop in Seattle. And so they had this vision that if they brought musical theater into downtown Seattle, it would revitalize the area and bring more people downtown. And that is indeed what happened. I also want you to remember that this is a time when Benaroya Hall is not downtown. The Paramount Theater has not reopened. Triple Door isn't here. None of these things existed. These leaders were truly pioneers with an idea that no one had ever thought of before. Let's make Seattle a destination and downtown for the arts. What I think drove them is that they wanted to ensure that the Fifth would remain a venue for generations to come. And their original vision a little over 50 years ago is still the vision we have today, bringing together the many communities in the Pacific Northwest to participate in live culture for the betterment of downtown, the betterment of society at large. And they believed then, as does the current board and staff of the Fifth Avenue Theater, that the Fifth is an asset where the arts are a vehicle to create a healthy, vibrant society, both culturally and economically. So with the support of those leaders, the theater did reopen in 1980 with another gala celebration. And then it would host what was sort of the Hamilton of its time. Annie, the Broadway show Annie, came to Seattle for 11 weeks, sold out the whole time it was here. Proof of concept was now done. People wanted to come back downtown. And that would, again, pave the way for so many arts institutions to come downtown. The Fifth has been many things over the years. Presenting national tours was the original impetus, but as times changed, the Fifth Avenue moved into producing and looks more like what we do today, where we do a mix of national tours and producing shows at the Fifth Avenue, hiring local actors, musicians, crews, and creating the productions from the ground up with the world-class theater artists, one of them sitting among us today, Tori, who you heard a sample of today. And we also moved into something really exciting that Seattle should really be celebrating more, and I try to share it whenever I can. We became known as a place that new musicals that wanted to go to Broadway could come to and be supported and be developed by the Fifth Avenue Theater. In my time at the Fifth Avenue, I've worked on 40 new musicals, 20 of which premiered at the Fifth Avenue on stage. The other ones didn't make it. Of the 20, 10 of those went on to Broadway, and of those 10, 2 of them won the Tony Award for Best Musical. I think we have a track record. In addition to the new work that we focus on, we also produce classics and rarely seen gems and present some of Broadway's greatest hits. We also run first-class education programs like the Rising Star Project, which we just did this past about 2 months ago, where we bring high school students into the theater and they recreate one of our professional productions, working alongside mentors in the profession. And the goal is not to create future Broadway stars, although we have done that as part of the program. But what we're really doing is teaching the value of what happens when 100 people all come together to complete one project on a deadline, on budget, and work as a community. And we really strive to make sure everyone understands that it's not just the actor standing center stage. Without that actor standing center stage, the person who does the spotlight couldn't do their job, but the actor couldn't do their job if the spotlight wasn't there. So everything is interconnected. And that's our goal with the program, showing people how to accomplish big things in large groups of people. Okay, so the sad part of my story. As the pandemic ended, the Fifth Avenue reopened. Well, the pandemic affected us greatly, and we shut down another about 2 years. So all in all, in the 100 years of the Fifth Avenue, there's 4 years of darkness, the 2 before it reopened in 1980 and 2 more during the pandemic. And I think everyone knows that the pandemic upended arts institutions across Seattle and throughout our entire region and across the country. Regional theaters were hit especially hard because people couldn't gather. And so what happened is we all got really, really comfortable sitting on our couches. And it turned out that our couches were really competitive for making us want to do things. And our couch kept calling us back. Not the people in this room. You all got out right away. I'm sure you're out every night of the week. But we had a hard time convincing people that leaving their homes was going to be fun again. And so when it ended and we reopened, we really had a lot of challenges. Not only did people not want to come downtown, but expenses had also increased across the board, about 25%. That's labor, steel, fabric, wood, everything that it takes to go into a show. At the same time that that was happening, we had another problem, which was attendance was going down. And so we had between 19 and 22,000 subscribers before the pandemic, and we dropped to a low of 7,500 after the pandemic. I have good news though. We have grown back to 10,000 subscribers. It's still less than we had. Thank you. Still less than we had, but the trend is moving in the right direction. The last 3 years, we have seen growth in the subscriber base, and we're on track to once again increase as we go into the season that we're starting right now. So people are starting to realize their couches maybe aren't that great after all. The thing about the expenses, one of the big expenses is in labor, because we found ourselves in a situation where we had to hire more people than it took to do the shows pre-pandemic, because we needed to have more understudies and more people to make sure that we had redundancies and that our shows would run no matter what. I have a really good example of this. Before the pandemic, several years before, we produced a production of White Christmas. And we recreated that production about 2 years after the pandemic. And we had to hire 15 more people to do that show. And those are understudies for the actors. We had some crew understudies as well. And you might be thinking, well, that just seems like a lot of people. And do you really need that? And unequivocally, the answer is yes. During that run of the production, there was only 4 performances out of 32 where all of the primary cast members and crew members were at the show. Otherwise, we had people out sick every night. And had we not had those understudies, we would have had to cancel performances. So the investment we're making in that additional labor is definitely worth it and pays off. So most arts organizations in Seattle have endowments and lines of credit to help fund operations during moments of low cash flow. And so when our expenses went up and our attendance went down, we hit a low cash flow problem because we no longer have the security of the $8 to $10 million that came in every year on subscription. And without a line of credit and without an endowment, that created a real struggle for us to manage our business. So we built up a deficit of roughly $7.5 million during those immediate years after the pandemic. And we have been working to resolve that. And you might be wondering, what on earth could you possibly be doing to resolve that? So I'd love to share that with you. Thanks for asking. First, we evaluated and retooled our model. We realized we needed to run shows for a shorter time, 2 weeks instead of 3. And that reduced expenses, but it also took the number of people who were coming and put them into those 2 weeks, which increased the feeling in the theater. I don't know if I'll tell you a secret. How it feels in the theater is equally as important as what's on stage. We can put on the greatest show in the world, and if only 10 people come into a 2,000 seat house to watch it, you're not going to like that show. But I get 2,000 people to show up, you're going to start liking that show even almost automatically. It's very strange how this works. The fuller it is, the more you are likely to enjoy the show. So condensing this down really helps create more energy and people have a better experience at the theater. The strategy really worked. We saw higher seat utilization throughout the season, and we also increased our revenue year over year because we were able to demand-based price. I have a secret for you all. If you buy your tickets earlier, they're often cheaper because as the performance fills up, we take this price and we move it up because it says people want to see what we're doing, so our seats are worth more. So buy early and you'll get the best deal. You're going to get an offer at the end of this, I think. So we also economize expenses across the board. We went from a $30 million organization down to a $23 million organization. And I said the word economize, and I actually just want to be a lot more frank. We made cuts, lots of cuts. And what those cuts looked like are we were running a new works development program. We cut that entirely. Our education programs, which we are so proud of and we're so committed to, we had to slim those back and say we can't do all of the things that we had been doing because we just don't have the revenue to support it. And I really want to be clear, this is a loss to our community. It's a loss in work for people. It is a loss in access to the arts for students and a way for them to engage with the world around them. And we need to get back to having those programs. But for now, we needed to take those expense cuts and make them happen so that we would be here to bring those programs back in the future. We also did some work with a marketing firm who came in and consulted with us to look at trends in our database about how sales were working. And they also do this around the country, so they were able to bring us best practices for what was working at other theaters. And we were able to implement their strategies over the last 2 years. And a lot of our success in selling more single tickets year over year and increasing the subscription is because of what we implemented through those strategies. And then sort of the biggest one is probably the linchpin in how we've navigated this time is we built an alliance with Seattle Theater Group, who manages the Paramount, the Moore, the Neptune. They are an amazing organization, and they are really good at managing historic buildings. We're a historic building. And they also are really good at programming concerts and comedy and other special events. And so we went to them initially thinking, hey, we would love to see some concerts and some special events at the Fifth Avenue, and would you be at all interested in helping? And they said, well, yeah, but we have maybe another idea. What if we figured out something bigger? And so we spent many months, I was here a few months ago talking about this, we spent many months talking about what that would look like. And so where we arrived at was the Fifth Avenue is experts at producing and presenting musical theater. They are experts at the comedy, the concerts, and managing the historic building. What if they became the landlord? We don't own the building, the University of Washington does. They became our landlord, so they sublease back to us 26 weeks a year, where we do what we do best, produce and present musical theater, and they manage the other aspects. This is a really fortuitous way to work for us. It took away things that distracted us from our work. It also made it possible for us to focus more on implementing those marketing strategies and implementing those expense cuts. It's important for me to note so that this doesn't get confused out in the world. The Seattle Theater Group and the Fifth Avenue Theater are two separate entities. We are our own nonprofits. We did not merge into one entity. We are fiscally separate in every way. We just work together to make sure that the Fifth Avenue Theater is fully utilized all year round. So when the founders of the Fifth reopened, everything on our stage was a presentation of Broadway shows that came from New York City. And for a long time, that was a really great way to work. And their idea was that presenting Broadway would be enough and ticket sales would support the Fifth Avenue Theater. It was such a beautiful idea they had and so ridiculous at the same time. But I do have to be fair to them. It did work. For the first 10 years, they could make that happen. And then we started needing to produce shows. This is partially due to Broadway touring products sort of dried up for a little while. And so the Fifth Avenue needed to create its own product. But once we started producing, the expenses of producing are much higher than those when it comes to presenting a national tour. You have to pay the actors for weeks of rehearsal. You have to build the sets, make the costumes, everything that goes into a production, as opposed to economy of scale, where a tour goes through 40 cities across the United States. So the expense of that is much, much lower. At the same time, and I do love our friends at Seattle Theater Group, so this is in no way derogatory towards them, they opened the Paramount and they started also presenting Broadway tours. And so the differentiation between the two became like, well, what is it? So we leaned into producing as what we would do, and we would support our local artists here. I think this is really essential that this version of the Fifth Avenue remains, because it allows us to make things that are specific for the community we live in. And I do believe there is a very important role for Broadway tours to come through Seattle. We want those as well, but also the opportunity for 3 times a year, the Fifth Avenue to say, there are these artists in Seattle who should be in a chorus line. And let's create that production for here, for the people in Seattle. Or there's a theme in this show that we want to do that is perfect for Seattle. If the Fifth Avenue didn't exist, those shows wouldn't happen. And we essentially be saying, hey, New York City, why don't you program all of the musical theater that happens in Seattle? I don't think any of us would like that. I love New York, but I want some agency in what we put on here in Seattle. And to me, it's incredibly meaningful to see the work on stage made by the musicians and the actors and the creative people. They truly are world class, but they're also your neighbors. When we employ them, we're supporting our local economy. We buy materials, wood, steel, fabric locally, and we support the creative economy by paying those actors. So when you buy a ticket to the Fifth Avenue or make a donation, you are supporting art being made in Seattle. So we've been actively changing course over the last couple of years, and what we needed to do is buy ourselves time. Like I said, we had that $7.5 million deficit, and we realized we needed to start a capital campaign, not in the traditional sense of capital that would build something, but capital that would sustain our business. And so we started a $22 million campaign. I am really happy to tell you that as of just a few days ago, we achieved $15 million raised in the $22 million campaign. We anticipated the campaign taking 4 years. We're about halfway through the campaign. I think we're on track to achieve our goal. The first 15 million were raised to sustain and make it possible to keep producing, keep hiring people, and make sure we didn't cut the product on the stage and have people get what they actually wanted. Now we're in the phase where we're retiring that deficit. Every dollar raised going forward will reduce that $7.5 million deficit. Back when the founders had their vision to save the Fifth, it was a vision to save downtown. And once again, the Fifth is playing a major role in revitalizing downtown and creating healthy, vibrant communities. You can look around us and see the restaurants that rely on us to have shows. They literally, one of them calls and says, when are your shows going to be next year? We want to plan our business out accordingly. So we are a major driver of what goes on. In addition to all the business model changes that we made, we also asked ourselves what was important at the Fifth and what did people actually want? And we answered that question. They wanted large-scale musical theater. And so we've doubled down on making sure the shows we do are high quality and they are large-scale musicals. This coming season, we have an amazing lineup of shows, A Chorus Line, The Wizard of Oz, Operation Mincemeat, Alice in Neverland, which is a return to a new musical that we'll be doing, and maybe Happy Ending. Together, we're building a stronger Fifth Avenue Theater Company. Our new plans are grounded in stewardship, sustainable growth, and realistic goals. We're relying on cultivation, strategy, vision, and the power of world-class musical theater to make the world a better place. I truly believe it does. It creates an opportunity, if nothing else, a place for people to come and refresh and take a break from the world around us that is chaotic and at times hard. I thought the best way to express what we do is once again through song. We're the Fifth Avenue Theater. We got to always have songs. So I'd like to invite Tori and Luke back to sing a song that wishes for more. It dares to dream and it imagines that one can do anything and can bring dreams to life. Please welcome back Tori and Luke with Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
When all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens a magic lane. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your window pane to a place behind the sun, just a step behind the rain. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why, then oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond that rainbow, why, oh, why can't
I think we have Q&A now.
We have just a couple minutes for questions. For Bill, thank you so much, Tori and Luke. Wonderful.
Thank you, Jeff. And Bill, thank you for coming. Thank you for bringing your team to inspire us. I was talking with Tori before the luncheon about how when I was an associate with the Corporate Council for the Arts, learning about theater in Seattle, how I became so fully aware that this is a great place and we were attracting people like these two to want to work here. My question for you is, in addition to buying tickets and talking in our spheres of influence, what can we do to make this a more affordable or a better quality of life for the kind of folks that you want to hire?
Yeah, that is such a good question. And I think the answer is we need to make sure that Seattle stays affordable so that artists can actually live here and work here. And so it's not just about supporting the theater, but it's also about supporting our city and finding ways for our city to be supportive of artists. When I moved to Seattle 25 years ago, everybody lived 10 blocks from downtown, artist-wise. And now that's an impossible thing. You have to be 30 minutes out of the city if you're gonna actually be able to afford to be an artist. So we need to find ways to make I would really love to see artist housing actually come back. That's something New York City did so well back in the 70s. And I kind of wish Seattle would think of an artist housing project to make it possible for artists to be downtown. I also think I just would, not be doing my job if I didn't say donate to the Fifth Avenue Theater or any arts organization. They need it right now. Everybody does. And we're an ecosystem. If any one of the arts organizations goes away, Tori's not going to have all the work that she needs to make that year happen. Sorry, I didn't mean to single you out like that, Tori, but that's how it works. They go from the Fifth Avenue to the Seattle Rep to the Village Theater and back to the Fifth. And all of those have to be healthy if artists are going to be able to make a year of work happen. Oh, I'm worried a really hard question's about to happen.
No, this will be an easy one. Thank you, Tori, and thank you, Luke. That was just beautiful. And thank you, Bill, for keeping the Fifth Avenue Theater alive.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
You mentioned something, and I don't know if I heard it correctly. Do you have a repertory company of dancers, singers, or do you go out and audition every single show?
We audition every single show. Every show we audition. Everyone, Tori comes and auditions how many times? Like 5 times a year for us. But it does start to function a little bit more like a rep company, that there are people who work for us on a regular basis. But it is not an official rep company.
Well, I'm looking for other questions here. Bill, can you tell us what's up on the screen?
Oh yeah, there's a subscribe code and a donate code. And then there also is going to be a discount that you're going to be sent to buy single tickets, 20% off of national tours and 25% off of the self-produced shows. And we would love to see you all at the theater. And if you see me there, come and say hi. I'd be happy to welcome you and show off the beautiful Fifth Avenue Theater. I know some secrets about the building. I tell people when they come up and talk to me, so I'm happy to share them with you, but you got to come in the building to hear them.
Oh, Bill, I'm curious, the shows that you've developed here and sent on to Glory,
Yep.
Does the Fifth have a revenue stream of that intellectual property?
We do. We have a very small piece of a big pie. And so Hairspray was the first one that we did this with. And over the years, it has brought over $1 million back to the Fifth Avenue Theater. Of course, that was in its heyday. It's not doing that now. And Aladdin was another one. And there's a piece of that, although that's owned by Disney. So it's an even much smaller piece of the big pie. Yeah. Memphis has one too. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Bill, I'm also curious, what's the pool like, the local pool of talent that feeds companies like the Fifth Avenue Theater?
Yeah, it is an amazing talent pool. There are literally hundreds of talented actors, musicians, singers, dancers, plus the craftspeople that are making the costumes, building the sets. Seattle is very rich and diverse in how it has all of the elements needed to create world-class theater, because we do create world-class theater. And so the Seattle Rep does amazing things. We do, the Village does, Intiman, every place. And so it's a huge community of people. And in fact, it's an embarrassment of riches when we go to cast something like a chorus line. It's incredibly competitive. There are many people that could play the parts, and we have to whittle it down to like, oh, we only get to have these 20 this time, and maybe next time we'll have a different set of 20.
Bill Berry,
One more
ladies and
question back
gentlemen.
there, I
Was
see.
there another question? Ah, okay, this will be our last question for you, Bill.
Do you need older understudies? Well, I heard you sing earlier. We'll talk. Yes, yes.
That's a good.
I already committed to like John Bridge being in the show and Linda and Vicky. So this
Carl.
is and
Yeah.
Carl. Don't forget
Yeah,
Carl.
your
Thank
talent
you all.
pool is right here.
Thank you all so much.
Before you step down, Bill, as a thank you for being here today and speaking to our club, our foundation, the Rotary Service Foundation, has donated 600 meals in your name to needy families. So thank you so much for everything you do. You're a true artist. Thank you
Thank
for what you do for our community. Wow. Well, just to put a little clarification, yes, I have very good news for everybody in the room and on Zoom. The Fifth Avenue Theater has agreed to put together a special discount code for us. Going forward, we will receive 20% off of their touring shows and 25% off of their self-produced shows. So you want to go to Chorus Line, you already get a fourth of the price off. You only have to pay 75%. So let's go out and support our theater, let's support our city, and let's support our community. So thank you, Fifth Avenue, for doing that for us. That's very kind of you. I remember when Jan Levy was up here fumbling with her notes and I go, why is she still fumbling with her notes? And now I know why. Okay. So thank you. Thank you to Bill. Thank you also to our music committee, and thank you to Harvey, Nancy, for your inspiration, our greeters. Also, I want to thank our sponsors, Carl, Benke, my man. What? Thank you for your sponsorship support. And we have a new sponsor. I'm happy to announce that Cascade PBS has become a sponsor of our Rotary Club. So, and with that, I'd like to invite Jevin to come up. He's got some announcements for us.
Thank you so much, President John. All right, announcements, folks. Hot off the press, the results of the recent member survey are in. We reviewed them last week at the board meeting on Tuesday and the lunch Zoom meeting on Wednesday. Mary Goldie will have put an executive summary in this week's newsletter. If you want a deeper dive into the data, you can find the report on the Club Runner, right, Mary? Okay, I always want to. Okay, and the newsletter as well. Next, grab your phones and put these dates in your calendar, please. This Sunday, August 9th, there's a work party at Elk Run Farm in beautiful Maple Valley that runs from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Check out the newsletter and our website for details and to sign up. Next, on August 19th, please make note, our lunch meeting will be at the Motif Hotel, not here at the WAC, with Seattle Schools Superintendent Ben Schuldiner. We will also have a new member introduction with Vicki Oxley telling us about Susanna Sakay, President and CEO of the Washington Athletic Club. Look forward to that, Vicki. Past President Jan Levy sent out an email this morning about this one. On August 20th, join us for the Lake Union Happy Hour for Good, featuring David Bobanek and past President Sue Nixon. This event runs from 6 to 8 p.m. It's organized by the Lake Union Rotary Club. The Happy Hour for Good. It's a lively event that'll feature David's renowned classic paella. David Savarks, owner of Abbey Vineyard Winery in Federal Way, will be pouring his signature wines that night. I look forward to that. Beer and non-alcoholic beverages provided by Talking Rain Beverage Company. Sue Nixon and her jazz quartet will entertain us that evening. Many of us know Sue's rich, soulful voice. Well, she and her band will feature classic jazz, blues, Latin, and pop music. Always a good time. Finally, on August 26th, our Zoom-only lunch meeting with special guest speaker Amanda Agati. Amanda is Chief Investment Officer of the PNC Asset Management Group. She leads the firm's overall investment strategy, portfolio, and risk management approach. She spoke last week on KUOW, and according to Mary Goldie, she crushed it, no doubt. Amanda will do the same for us on August 29th. That's it for me. Back to you, President John.
Thank you, Dr. Powell. Thank you. I neglected to say a couple things. Number one, the information about the discounts will be in your newsletter. So if any of you are wondering, how do we get this? What's the code? It'll all be in the newsletter in writing. And when I was thanking everybody, Tori, Luke, I didn't call you out, but thank you so much for being here today. And Tori, you've got a gift, and thank you for sharing that gift with us today. What a voice. It was absolutely inspiring, especially the second song. I never got to hear that thing all the way through, so thank you. I just think of Judy Garland doing the back half of it. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention, Bill was very kind today, but theaters, when they ask you and the arts ask you for support, just to put this in perspective, and some of you know I sit on a couple of boards, arts boards. In theater specifically, the average theater ticket prices cover about 40% of that theater's revenue needs. 60% comes from donations. So when you think that the arts are asking you for donations, there's a reason for it. The formula is set up that way, that they really need our donations above and beyond the ticket prices. So just that goes beyond the Fifth Avenue, that goes to all of the arts organizations, just something to be thinking about. Last thing I'd like to do today, and this has really been a meeting committed to our community. Could I have any and all yellow badge members, could you please stand for a minute and remain standing if you're in the room today? Yellow badge members. There we go. Thank you. Rotarians, I'm going to be doing this more and more. I want you to recognize these people. Please reach out to them. They're getting started in the club. It's an awesome amount of information to gather as to what's right, what's wrong, how do you do things, how do you go to this happy hour for good. They could always use an extra friend. So please reach out to our yellow badge members. Thank you both for standing. Yeah, and I am really doing well with these agenda things, man. I'm kicking it. I'd said 126, and I am through everything that I had on my little agenda here. So can I give you back 4 minutes? All right, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Rotarians, we are adjourned.